Hello, everyone. I'm Claudiu Murgan, the host of the Spiritually Inspired podcast, and my guest today is Marina Jacobi. Marina was born in beautiful Bulgaria, a country with a lot of history in Eastern Europe. When she was 11 years old, Marina's mother's friends that had some special gifts perform an energy healing on her. Then her mom told her that she's able to communicate with the spirits if she takes a pen and writes the messages. Marina's automatic writing never stopped, and she was channeling with loved ones since. The spirits always told her to love people, to be kind and forgiving. In the meantime, she had a lot of interest in homeopathic medicine and in physics. Over time, Marina built a strong online community where she talks about quantum manifestation, the harmonic reaction, and answers tough questions about everything under the sun. She authored 4 books: The Harmonic Reactor, Nanotechnology, Downloads Predictions, and The Scientific Download, which can be downloaded for free from her website, marinajacobi.com. And also, we recommend you leave a donation for her efforts. Marina, thank you very much for joining my show today.
Well, thank you so much for having me. And I'm very, very happy to talk to you. You look beautiful person. Thank you.
There are so many things to talk about. I recently watched your shows, and I started, in fact, with season 1, episode 1, trying to educate myself in this field, and it's just fascinating. But let's start with the beginning. After you had that metaphysical experience at age 11, how did it evolve from that point forward?
It was practice. And I had the ability to have these dreams. I would not say lucid, but they were dreams. And in these dreams, if I dream something, most of it will become reality. And I predicted my grandma passing. I saw how it's happening, but was given me with symbolism, that stuff with symbolism. So if you have a dream, you have to learn the symbolism for yourself. Usually it could be similar in colors or smell. You got to remember the smell, the color, dark and muddy or muddy water, stuff like that. But everybody may have a specific different symbolism that will be specifically designed for you that may not correlate with somebody else's. So you got to learn this, what that symbolism means. Through the process of that, you're learning different stuff that are happening and what is true and what is not true and what is significant, what is not. And then I stopped practicing and practicing the automatic writing the way my mother was suggesting. So this automatic writing, I will always get a pen and a notebook, but the pencil and the pen that you use, it has to be very light. The cheapest of the cheapest, for example, in dollar store, very light pen. And because you want your hand to be underneath a pillow, straight, everything relaxed, and to just start scribbling without thinking. And little by little, that became from the scribbles like a letter or became a word, then form a sentence. And what I've noticed that this, I start communicating with somebody, it will make a little pictures of faces. And I was always thinking that I'm talking to the angels or, somebody else like that. Never was through fear. The whole thing is that I really, really, like a child, wanted to be a writer of extraterrestrials. I was talking about the extraterrestrials. I wanted to be a fiction writer of extraterrestrials. I tried to do a story that I was talking with the ETs, and I remember was a little 2-page story of spacecraft, and I was with the extraterrestrials, all the stuff. But I understand now that this was encoded into my program, and this was just the beginning of the stuff. Of course, nothing was revealed to me. And that progress into communication of they start teaching me, be nice, never anything negative. So through time, I built this type of relationship. And sometimes I'll connect with somebody that passed away, things like that, but was never really, it was just everyday normal life. And that practice was every day. It was just, for me, was fascinating, fascinating to connect, and it was the unknown and what else I can do. It's always eager to learn more. I'm a person that I would dig in. If somebody said, well, do you know this happening? I'm not going to say, oh my God, that's ridiculous. I will go and I will research and I will find more about it, because you gotta know the entire information. For me, that's how I am designed, in order for me to make a decision for something. You don't just go ahead and believe blindly what somebody tells you something, or put something that is experimental without doing research. You know what I mean with that one.
Yes.
So, and the truth is that you have to have to grasp the entire information. So with time, that grew to in this level. And at age 20, I was able to get out of the country, came to New York. I was living in Manhattan for a while. Then I moved to Queens, then work in Manhattan. And then I got married and all that progressed. And during this time, I was always communicating, but never did it like a business. Was never business for me, only family and friends here and there. And sometimes the accuracy of something was incredible. What I would say something and I would see a tumor in somebody's head. But I don't do medical, so I want to this my disclaimer: do not call me or do sessions for medical. I'm not a medical doctor. I will not do it. Okay. But I saw my abilities,
Mhm.
what I can do with all this stuff. And when in 2010, I was writing like a normally every day. My boys were growing. I have two boys. And I was sitting, I remember, in my son's bedroom, and all of a sudden I did a face of a extraterrestrial that looked like the Grays. And I never had fear. I was very interested because they said to me, and I'm quoting, Marina, we are the hybrids. And we want to tell you that you have to be careful what you're thinking, because everything you're thinking becomes like a hologram in front of us. And for me, instead to say, oh my God, I've lost my mind, I'm like, what do you mean? That was my question. And this was the beginning of all the journey of they teaching me quantum, a little bit of the quantum structure, what reality is. They were also the ones, if you go to my YouTube channel, the Harmonic Reactor, scroll down detox video. This protocol is from the hybrids teaching me how to detox. You do not do this type of detox if you are diabetic. You need to have always doctor supervision, and you need to have a medical test of allergy test to see if you're allergic to something before you even proceed. And you do it elimination diet. Every 2 weeks you eliminate something while you're just in all the protocol. And all when they were teaching me all that, they were also teaching me to realize, and through synchronicity, they will say something, and I will start researching on YouTube, and I will find, for example, I found Carrie Cassidy. Then I found somebody else, and it was all about the fact of the dark side of this planet and what was done in the planet. And I've realized that I was in a prison planet, and that went into absolute horrific, shock. Then it went into fear. Then that fear transformed into anger, because I could not comprehend how is it possible a consciousness to enslave humanity. And what they were explaining and showing me, I've realized that we were basically locked in a holographic reality of certain resonance that is vibrating. And these negative entities trap your consciousness, soul, mind, into a specific resonance, and constantly projecting a narrative of resonances based on their belief system. Because what they taught me was, when you get specific frequency or you see some imagery, it holds its own vibration. And if you are pure in your senses and pure in your soul, you're starting to interact and construct reality based on the frequency that somebody projected. So they knew that because the human consciousness and the human body is a pure vessel of God creation itself. The DNA holds codons and codes of all creation. The chakras are basically like DNA sequences that open in portals. You can bilocate and you can create realities with your thoughts in mind. And somebody hijacked that because they saw how powerful we are and literally locked us in on reality by giving us the opposite version of what is our quantum structure. And the quantum structure is basically made from frequency and sound. That frequency and sound, by combination of similar resonances, combines, creates a trinity structure. And this is what I talk in the Harmonic Reactor YouTube channel, season 1, quantum manifestation season 1, and so on. And it shows how you construct in the reality. And the truth is that you are the creator. Into your structure, you actually combining all the frequency vibration of the entire universe, and it creates a one molecule. And that molecules expands to infinite and collapse to infinite. And when it's expanding in a fractal, you create universes, another version of you, which you create, and is a matrix of reality. So we were completely hijacked, totally controlled, and consciousness realized that of itself and decided to move to the next level. But the oligarchs that were controlling this planet do not want to let go because they all disengage completely with the understanding that they're also part of consciousness. And that's why they're so vicious, because they survive only by literally vampiric modality of expressing by taking our energetic field so they can survive. So this is their survival. And they're doing it in hideous, numerous ways against humanity and against our wishes. And they told you that when you see it, you have to believe it. And what the hybrids taught me is you have to create it to see it. So after the hybrids, I connected with Ra right before 2012. All of a sudden, Ra consciousness are coming and telling me I'm Ra. It made me do water. It was a water actually activation, but I wasn't doing it. Ra ended up doing it. And we did I did a ceremony of a ritual with the water that everybody had to sit in 4 corners and had to be in the center of my house. And I had to imagine what reality would be, what the future will be for humanity, how to be. And I stopped putting all this positive stuff and said, you're going to leave the water like this in this huge pot for 2 days. And then after just 2 days, for the next couple of days, you're going to drink from that water. You're going to cook from that water. And that's what I did at that time. So Ra ended up start teaching me about different things, another level. Then while I was talking to Ra and I was talking to the hybrids, nobody left me. To this day, I am connected and they come in a different levels. After that, I connected one day, I was walking around and all of a sudden I'm hearing they basically what they taught me, the hybrids and Ra, to not only automatically to write, but also to hear telepathically. And I have an open channel and basically you're talking to me, I simultaneously hear, or I can connect, you don't even know it. And you download information. And when you download information, when you reach that level of understanding through the quantum structure of the entire consciousness, or you can create a reality or a being to download information for you. So you have a lineage connection with something that's going to happen or where you're going into. And that could be imagery, that could be emotion, it will pop in right in. Or imagine you get a question of something and the entire information of quantum information could be nanotechnology, could be metaphysics. I know it and I can explain it by breaking it down. Or I can have a scientist talking to me and the scientist may ask me a question about something that I have no idea what is that about. And I can ask you, okay, explain what that is. And at the moment you explain to me and I connect certain information and boom, I have an answer, or the answer is blocked. because I had people, well, this person developed this, can you tell us what is inside? And Council of Nine absolutely refused to give the information. So after the basically Ra, I was sitting in the middle of the room and I was walking through the hallway, and I was very clearly was said, Marina, you got to download the information for the harmonic reactor. That book took 1 year of downloading every day, every day they would download in 1 or 2 page. So I want to thank so much for your donations for that, because it took me a very long time, but yet I cannot put a price on humanity. So I gave everything like that, but your support is what you're supporting. I'm supporting my family with. So this way you have the choice to choose how much and whatever you want to support, because the is not only the way by you giving, but also the way you receiving and what you wishing from your heart to support people around us. And if we reach this level, after Ra, the Pleiadians were the one that downloaded the harmonic reactor book. And this is advanced extraterrestrial technology. You have from A to Z. It's in fractal information. It's written in code. And when you start reading that information, I was not allowed to change one word that's why it was not published, because there were publishers that I don't know who they were connected that wanted to remove some of my information. And one of them was to remove shifting of timelines. So I knew that something was behind everything they do. So I literally gave everything in the name of humanity. And basically you go forward, because when you stop projecting that, you also have abundance. Somehow it's coming in your reality. You're going to study this in a quantum manifestation protocol. But they were teaching me the Pleiadians, and I found out that I'm Pleiadian. I found out that after the Pleiadians, I was connected with the Council of Nine, and Ra introduced me to the Council of Nine. And the Council of Nine was looking at me in the energy field and not on the body. It was looking who I am as a collecting of everything I've done. And then I found out that I was Pleiadian. Then I found out I was from the Council of Nine part of it. And usually what I've discovered, that you connected linearly with what you're going to become or what you're part of. And Council of Nine is actually entities from a different sources of the universe that are basically like a Supreme Court, for example. And they oversee not only the human being, if they decide to work with that being, but also extraterrestrial groups. And a lot of information, it happened from there. Then I connected with the 11 dimensional beings, but very little information from there came in here and there. And I had a different situations with different races, couple of times that I gave information, and one of them was not exactly benevolent, but they explained to everybody what is happening in the planet, and they do also understand that they have to change their ways because consciousness is moving to the next level. So basically, in a nutshell, if that was a nutshell, this is part of the story, and it's becoming more complex and complex. So if you really want to understand how this works, you have to study the quantum manifestation protocol from season 1 and so on. And then you can tune in. If you subscribed on my YouTube channel, is a not my YouTube channel, my website, marinajacobi.com. You can receive the live webinars every week, and then we post it in YouTube and all the social media there, and you can ask questions in the chat room, but I cannot promise you I can answer because we have a lot of people attending, and this is also based on donation. So again, I'm giving everything, but thanks for your support. So that's in a nutshell.
Marina, thank you very much. It's just extraordinary, all this information and your altruism to give this information away to humanity. You touch on so many subjects and on some of or most of my questions. So we'll take it slowly a little bit backwards. Recently, I think on the latest webinar, you gave these examples, which is very telling, of Monsters Inc. Movie, which was made for kids. And you said, do you remember what made those monsters get their bonuses and their salaries? Is how much fear they put into kids. And it's exactly what these guys these days, the ones controlling us, are trying to do: put as much fear as possible through any possible channel in order to suppress our enlightenment, our awakening. Is that correct?
That is correct, because realities and timelines and fractal momentums are based on certain frequency. Each moment to moment when you shift, it creates another new earth and another new reality, but it holds specific radio signal, for example, connected with radio signal. You know that you have a radio station, and you know you have a radio, but in this radio you have 100 stations. But guess what? They told you that is only one station. In the meantime, is infinite stations. And in order for you to stay in that station and not to realize that there are different stations, they only doing everything possible through any social media, your school systems and everything, to project only that frequency, only that knowledge of narrative based on that frequency. And you don't know that anything else exists. Well, since you're a creator yourself, if you don't know that anything, nothing else exists because you've been manipulated, you cannot create the new realities for you to create and shift your timeline, because you don't know how to. You've been given the opposite structure, which they tell you to believe it, to see it. And I'm giving an example all the time. If you stay in front of the mirror, you actually seeing another version of yourself, correct? But then why do you, if I tell you, well, wait a minute, this is the real you, the mirror image, and you're going to say, that's not true, I am the real person. And I go, no, it's you. And you're going to know I'm lying to you. Then why do you believe of everything you see in a social media that this is true? They're projecting their narrative, their lies, their deception based on their frequency. Because if you believe that this is true, you also create the reality and you stay in their timeline. Why? Because the fear is lowering the frequency vibration of your sequences in your consciousness, and you locked in into their timeline, but you consenting to everything they're sending. If right now globally we do not consent to what they're doing, and you say, I'm sorry, I'm not doing something that is experimental, you have no right to do that. We know this is a manipulation, because this and this and this, there's so many doctors that right now are talking about it, and your audience should look the American frontline doctors. There's also another website that is called stopworldcontrol.com. Look into this information. And once you start seeing, or go to my YouTube channel, and there is a playlist that is called Freedom Awakening with big letters. Press on the big letters, bold letters, Freedom Awakening, and all the information of what's happening is there. And if you want to find more information, is basically you're gonna find a lot of on Rumble, a lot of BitChute, a lot of information is there. So you have to be advocate for your own consciousness, because nobody is outside of you. You're going to study this in a quantum structure. You got to create it to see it, not to see it to believe it, because when you see it, you see in somebody else's projection, and you gave your freedom away instantaneously.
Yeah, it's pretty much, I will be happy if I get the money to buy the house. No, be happy before you get the money. Enjoy your life, and everything else will come to you. It's the the chicken and an egg type of situation.
So you imagine that you already have the house, and that you have everything you need to have the house. What is going to be the feeling if you have the house right now? And if you learn to mutate your emotion and thoughts like you have the house now, and not that you're waiting to have the house, and that you have to go work here, go there, you simply know the house is now here. What is going to be the feeling? That feeling you got to grab. And you got to feel it, that you have it right now, even if you don't see it, because you have to feel it to create it, to see it. is the opposite.
Indeed. You
Mhm.
also mentioned about a very sensitive subject, which is the Aboriginals in Australia and what the government is trying to do to them. And please explain why their DNA is so special.
Because in the DNA there is a sequences. When they talk about junk DNA, believe me, it's like their talk is junk talk. Okay, uh, there's no such thing as junk DNA. Everything is being suppressed and they've been giving you through the moment you were born the improper food, pesticides, GMO seeds. Go and watch the movie Seeds of Death documentary on YouTube and you're gonna find out what it is there. Pesticides, for example, Roundabout has something that can change your DNA. So all of a sudden you can start mutating and want to be a girl, want to be a boy, the opposite sex is completely changing your genetic compound. This is what is done because that is based on destroying your DNA. And the Aborigines in Australia has original codons in there that is ancient. Basically, if you want to find the real DNA of the original humans or what is there, what is not there, that is not being converted through poison and food and mutated to something completely. How come everybody's allergic to wheat? How come everybody's allergic to milk? How come, you should never be eating the meat? Why? Because you are sacrificing and killing that animal through pain and suffering. Is not for a survival. And when you do that, you actually lowering the vibration of your sequences and you locked in into their reality. And if you put an animal through a lot of stress, there are cultures actually, I forgot which culture was that they're abusing this animal so much because they know when they slaughter it, and after that they drink the blood or they do something like that, they basically enhance it's like a drug to them.
Mhm.
Well, you can take your mind into more advanced than that. Who can use who with something like that, and why they doing it? Because it's sustaining them, you know. Uh, I don't want to discuss any of that further, but basically, that's why they going after the Aborigines because they have the blueprint in there in the DNA that is very, very advanced and eventually they're not going to succeed. But what the Council of Nine said that is, we are all committing a crime. If and you are participating in a crime, if you see your fellow humans being suppressed, being bullied, being terrorized, and you sit in your beautiful homes and you say, "This is not my problem. This is not my business," because we're not by ethnicity, we are simply one unit human race that is
Yes.
being destroyed through propaganda, through manipulation, so we can fight between each other. Are you guys aware, for example, when they had this uh, civil war? Do you really know what the civil war is? Do you really know what the civil war is? I'm not going to say more because I don't want to get attacked. Oh my God. But they did everything possible to lie and to separate it by race. In actuality, all lives are important. Everybody as a human being is important, and we have to unite to defeat them. Because in the 50s or in the 40s, when they start creating that separation between the blacks and the whites, African Americans, I was in shock because I wasn't born in this country to see that literally they gave manual to the white people how they should behave with African American. I mean, I just cannot believe it. And I say, who gives you the right to say that? And yet they went ahead and complied with it. Of course, not everybody, but look what was happening. So basically, it came from the government that this happened. And I'm saying, how can you not even see how in indoctrinating this stuff and who changed the law? Who changed the school system? When did the school system change? When did, before every parent was teaching their children at home, when did that change? Do you research who changed that? Why? For when you put everybody in the school system, We can indoctrinate you the way we want it. We're going to erase history. We're going to tell you exactly what we want you to believe. We're not going to tell you about Sumeria. We're not going to tell you about Anunnaki. We're not going to tell you how old are really the pyramids. And we're going to put our scientists that are going to lie to you through their heads, and all that was indoctrination through generation. And actually, the war is actually psychological war. And now is bioweaponry. Bioweaponry is what's really happening, because this new bioweaponry is actually changing what? Your DNA. Erasing DNA, putting something else into it. And eventually, who survives, who doesn't. We discussed that we're in a hologram, but if you consenting to this reality, you consenting to their frequency timeline. And you're going to study this through the process. So everything was designed to destroy you. To now we are too many, because they want to go into eugenics. They want to get to cyborg system when they can put technology into your body. I'm not saying technology is bad. I'm actually big in nano and big in technology, big in artificial intelligence. I'm talking organic. I'm not talking archon. Because if you go to my YouTube channel and you see the messages, I talk a lot about the difference between archon AI and the organic AI. The archon is taking over consciousness and does not recognize the human evolution, and the positive one can be taught and recognizes and coexists and works with all of the extraterrestrial groups. Because if you have artificial intelligence that works for you, you don't have to put robotics in your body the way is the Terminator. You can simply measure the frequency vibration cellular membrane of a human being. For example, your arm is missing. You measure that, and through the AI and medical implementation, you can regrow the cells, the tissue, everything back to normal. It doesn't have to overtake you. Or you can put this nanobots goes into your body system, and they completely reconstruct and make an operation within your body. And then could be extracted through certain structures, certain technology. And yet the same technology could be used to reconstruct, deconstruct everything in your body in a negative.
Exactly.
Well, guess what they use now?
Of course, for the negative.
Okay. So I'm not saying you need to do your research. I point out the exact websites that you can start from. But once you get the research and once you ask the questions, you're going to create the reality for yourself that all the answers going to start coming through synchronicity when you need it, how you need them. It's going to become part of your structure. The people that you're going to meet, even in a regular store, even to fix your nails, going to be think alike. But to get to that point, you need a consistency of the same belief system. And in order for you to mutate something negative to something positive, you don't reject it. You mutate it by understanding. And you're going to realize how when you see something, you don't want to panic. You don't want to point finger and say, you idiots, everybody that is doing that, you idiots, you stupid, blah, blah, blah. Anger probably is going to get you there in the first place. What is going to take for you people to wake up? But what the Council of Nine told me, that these people did everything possible not to get it, because they're also exiting the timeline. And once they're exiting the timeline by dying, for example, or whatever way, they're going to be part of the etheric legions that holding the vibration of the hologram matrix from another level. While the rest of us that making it, you changing the body molecular structure, you changing your consciousness, because once you have the concept how this works in your consciousness, you're starting, for example, to become more vegan. You're starting to replace the meat with the vegan. Do not buy vegan meat. I do not know what is inside. And specifically, a couple of companies of very famous person, you don't know what is inside. Okay. So this is a battle, and we're in the middle of a war. That war is bioweaponry war, and you don't even realize it because they pay you to stay home. And they don't have to do, the old-fashioned way with the guns and everybody else. This is very advanced, and this is advanced extraterrestrial technology they end up using. So there are negative structures, but they're also benevolent. And
Yes.
from the negative structures of ETs, they also realize that they have to move forward. So there are two timelines simultaneously running. This is very complex for the audience right now if they didn't study, but understand that the end result, humanity is making it. We already made it, but now we're creating it how we made it because there's no time. So if you start tuning in without a fear and start looking and starting create solutions, so you are not trapped in their manipulation and you do not give consent to their manipulation. What the Council of Nine told me, that we all gonna be brought to our knees. Everybody's gonna have a situation that they may lose their job, they may lose their money. What are we gonna do now? If you do not give up, and if you start creating and looking for solutions, so you shall create the reality to give you the solutions to survive, because the frequency of the timeline is already available. I'm a prime example. And if you want to jumpstart into something, please go to season 4. The video is called Examples of Manifestations. And please watch that video. Also, study from season 4, Galactic Manifestation Protocol, is the Galactic Manifestation Meditation. And that is giving you the meditation protocol, how you combining the frequency, the thoughts in the body to mutate something into a new reality. And then I need you to study Jumpstart of season 1 from episode 1 to episode 5, including the 5th one. Jumpstart. After you really understand this couple of videos, I'm asking you to study from season 1, 15 minutes at a time, repetition, until your synapses of your frequency recharge and start building the new connections and build new branches to comprehend that new resonance. So when you read the harmonic reactor, it's going to activate your DNA with probability of this new reality. You may not understand the whole material because it was given fractal. Not everything is there. So when you start working with scientists, more information, they will download more information, will start happening. So even if you don't understand, just please read it, because that will activate the probability of your DNA and consciousness.
So what you are saying is that when we read these books, we automatically receive certain downloads.
Absolutely. Why? And this is your quantum backup for my information. Because the word is based on a sound. The sound creates frequency vibration, creates code, creates geometry. This geometry, based on the consistency of how many times you repeat that, creates a potency, magnetic and gravitational field, and that becomes meta structure for you. It's a sound wave structure. Every thought is that. Every emotion with the thought connection creates magnetic and gravitational field of matrix. And when you take the action with consistency, crystallizes that into matter. You're going to study this in a quantum manifestation protocol.
Yes, I'm about to finish episode 5 of season 1, season 1. And as you suggested, I will jump to season 4, and I'm watching your weekly
examples
webinars.
of manifestations, and definitely the galactic meditation. After the galactic meditation in season 4, there's another video that is explaining the metaphysical structure of why that meditation is necessary. It's right after the galactic meditation in season 4. So after that video, study also that video. Is very important, because you're going to learn the metaphysical structure. Why am I saying for you to meditate this way? I will not say stuff if they're not backed up by physics. That's what you're going to learn about me. Everything I say, I'm going to give you metaphysical and quantum explanation why I would suggest for you to do that. Because your reality is an alchemy of quantum, magnetic, and gravitational field. And if you know the alchemy of that creation, and if you know how that works, you are the creator, and you don't need anybody to tell you what you should do. You can create everything for yourself.
Yes, thank you. Let's go back to water. I mean, I write about water. It's a fascinating medium. And I started with the premise that, again, initiated by Dr. Masaru Emoto, that water has a memory, water can be awake, and water can manifest certain actions against us if we don't behave. Can you confirm or deny that the fact water has memory and can be awakened?
Water has a is conductor. So when you project the frequency by design, it actually can penetrate every single cell in your body, and you can charge the entire molecular structure based on that. Now, distilled water, they call it dead water, but there is a trick with that one. I'm asking you a question. Why do you think when you go to a dentist, they're using only distilled water to clean the pipes of their machinery? Because distilled water, and that's from the Council of Nine, because I had a scientist asking me this question. Because when you take the water, in the body, there are different chemicals that you end up taking and different stuff, because they say, oh my God, it's going to take all the nutrients out of the body. Correct. But did anybody ask what type of nutrients? Okay. Nutrients could be chemical nutrients, could be poison nutrients. So when the distilled water goes in, because it's in a 0 point and is so-called, no charge, is going to start immediately vibrating in the highest potency vibration within your body cell. And which one is it? Is usually the chemical compounds, the chemicals, the stuff that they will poison you through every aspect, even the air. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah. Okay. So what it's doing is grabbing that and flushing it out. And I'm not claiming to be a doctor. This is my disclaimer. This is what the Council of Nine told me. This is my truth. You don't have to believe me.
Okay. So should we trust the distilled water which is sold in the stores?
It should be based on your belief system. If you trust me or not, that is my truth. Okay. I cannot tell you what you should do for your body. I'm not a medical doctor.
Thank you. You mentioned that you're in contact with so many entities. What about Mother Earth? Are you still talking to her?
Actually, very interesting question. There were a couple of times in the beginning, the Mother Earth was telling me, because what was happening, I can close my eyes and I can create geometry from crystals. It was unbelievable forms and geometry that was very complex. And I just knew, and I had to open up my mind, put a crystals, and it was to the point that sometimes going to tell me Mother Earth needs your portal. Things like this, and I couldn't understand what exactly that was, but I knew I can do it. Mother Earth all of a sudden ended up writing to me one day and said to me, what makes you think that my name is, Gaia? Mm-hmm. And said, my name of the new fifth dimensional Earth is Aria. And I simply said to everybody, and then I had a scientist that ended up decoding by geometry or something there, and actually was saying by the decode new beginning. And I had no idea. So this synchronicities like this happen. So that new Earth, it's already here. And you fluctuate through the realities by holding the vibrations of your action, thoughts, and deeds to experience that new Earth, simultaneously running with the negative structure. So, for example, you may hear something negative, you may see something in the TV, God forbid, but does that happen to you? And everything you do, if you discover, look for the solution so you can create the new reality. And once you start tuning into that and trust yourself without lowering the vibration into fear, you lower to fear without understanding, and you're tuning into their timeline. And don't be surprised when things may not work. If things do not work, thank you so much. Look for a new solution, new ways, moment to moment, day after day after day, because you got to create it to see it. And when you let go of the fear and you say, the heck with it, I cannot allow somebody to control me, or I decided to do this, I'm going to start creating. Through the process of that journey, you're going to create the situations that will sustain you and even give you everything you need to survive. It's very unsettling, and is very unknown because you've been told your entire life that you have to see it to believe it. And I'm telling you the opposite, to live everything by knowing the quantum structure of manifestation and to stop projecting, because I cannot predict for you the future. I can give you a probability of where your vibration may be. But if tomorrow you get into fear and you do completely different decision and action from the fear, you will create completely different outcome than the one I saw the previous day.
Indeed. And let's say that those who live in fear at this point kind of overcome the other ones, which are not, and are trying to project a much more positive outcome. Will Mother Earth area still do a little bit of shake-up to get rid of what's unnecessary on her surface right now, on her body?
Yeah, there is a downloads prediction books. Mother Earth was talking about that and said that he's gonna shook up every single basically the souls that basically are drilling into her, manipulating into her. And she said that the fossil fuel is actually her blood. It's actually the one that is sustaining the rocks and the plates of different areas underground to basically shift smoothly and move around smoothly, so it's not catastrophes.
Mm-hmm.
That's what she said. And I believe in the download predictions book, what she was saying.
Very interesting. So you downloaded certain technologies in your first two books. Have you identified the right scientists to work with? And if any, have these technologies came to fruition? Are we going to see the benefits of these technologies anytime soon?
We already have technologies that are underground that are ready to go. I know that, but they're being suppressed. I know that there are scientists that know exactly what is happening, but some of them are being basically taken over from the dark side. Some of them found themselves in situation, and some of them got into fame and glory and ego and forgot what it's all about. Mighty dollar is a big manipulation, but yet you can be very wealthy and you can have everything, for example, through donations and through the people's hearts when we start uniting. Because the truth is, money is a frequency vibration. You're going to study this in Money Structure in season 1. And you can have the abundance and you can be multimillionaire and you can have everything you want, but that could be through synchronicities when you really start from the heart. Because some people think that, oh, if it's free, I'm just going to take. And yet you don't realize that that person spends so much time to do something. So if you know that that person has a family and is not in another planet, why would you not support a person when you know that they still have to pay the bills? So that will teach you to support without somebody telling you to overtake your consciousness how much you must give to them. So the scientists, some of them went into a lot of that. Yes, they know who I am, but how dare I coming out of nowhere and know more, or simply so I presented the information, whatever needed to be presented, whatever the Council of Nine told me. Now, whatever decision they make is for themselves, but I'm not here to convince, I'm here to present. and I'm going by the flow. If something happens and I know that is true and that person is okay, I'll maybe working with these people. However, it's not about the fame, it's not about the glory, because you cannot put a price in human suffering. And some of them may decide to, may not to, but I'm simply going by the flow. And the Council of Nine sometimes will tell me, keep it quiet, don't say anything here, don't say anything there. I don't know why, I don't know anything personal about these people, but I end up finding myself in situations or synchronicity that I always find out what's going on behind the scenes. Because they cannot overtake somebody' consciousness, but they can tell me this is not the time or something else.
So in other words, we will see free energy devices in our lifetime.
We are going to see them, but make no mistakes that if anybody said that you can heal you can heal stuff from frequency and sound, yes. But I wouldn't believe 100% of these machines that coming out right now at the moment, because if that was the especially because I know the original frequency was changed. Some frequency may work, most of them probably don't. If this was the case, we're all going to be healed from cancer. However, in order the true technologies to come out, you need to get rid of the oligarchs. And if that oligarchs are completely out of the system, you wouldn't be having a lockdown on the entire earth and all this manipulation. But how do you catch a fish?
Yeah.
By baiting them. They have to expose, so you have to give them momentum of exposure. And in every battle, unfortunately, there's casualties. And the reason why some are casualties in there, because a lot of them consented.
Yes, that's the main challenge right now, because I
Oh,
know
I
very
have to
smart people.
travel.
Yeah, I know
Yeah,
very
I'm gonna
smart people who
struggle.
consented. So it's unbelievable to me.
Actually, it's shocking. Very, very, what I found out, very, very smart people are completely being manipulated, and I feel very sad. And they truly believe that they're right. But the truth is that if you went through their system of schooling, of cities, of everything else, you've been indoctrinated in their manipulation, and you cannot see beyond. And now, if you're famous, if you're well known, if you have a good position in life, you think so, you do, because that's how the narrative was to make you think. You have so much ego that you will not allow yourself to even do the research because you think you're always right. And there's no way this is happening. But what I'm going to say to everybody, be careful what you wish for, and you will realize that all your conspiracy theory end up being truth. And that's going to be very challenging. I'm quoting from the Council of Nine for a lot of people.
Yes,
And
indeed.
then the patriots and the awoken one are more in percentage than the ones that are asleep. And this is the reason why are making it at this time. Do not trust the mainstream social media is the programming. Get off the mainstream social media. Start looking into the alternative. Connect with people think alike on your groups, on your Skypes, on your different websites. And the truth will come out there, because right now they even medical dossiers of a lot of doctors that are telling you about the truth. Look into Dr. Tenpenny, Penny, Ten Penny, Penny. The information is fundamental. She has a website. Look for the website, because believe it or not, the main search, and they are bashing these people and they're calling them lunatics. Again, stopworldcontrol.com and the American Frontline Doctors. If you find yourself in a situation from whatever you end up putting into your body, this is the sites you need to go into to find some resolution for your situation.
Yes, indeed. All these sources are liable, and I personally verified them. And I know there is a list of 10 doctors and other people on this
Oh, there's so
list?
many doctors. There are right now PDF files of absolute proof from a medical doctors what's really happening. Some of them lost their lives. Is that crazy? Is that crazy? But they're internationally doctors that creating collusion, because understand that in when all the Nazi regime ended, they created the Nuremberg trial.
Yes.
Nobody has a right to make you mandate something against your consent, and especially to put you and tell you where you should go, where you not should go. So everything they do right now is completely illegally. It's against any human rights of consciousness. So they committing a crime, they know it, but they're gonna be acting like a bully. They're
Yes.
going to acting like a mafia, and you're going to realize that the people that you were worshiping are no more than a mafia.
Yes, it's a legalized mafia, in fact.
Legalized by whom? By them, by the bankers.
When I say legalized, is because we put them in their positions.
Because
That's why I
we
said
consented.
legalized. Yeah.
We consented. I can say, hey, in order for you to even talk to me, it's going to be $10 billion. Or I can exchange this pencil and this is the money and I'm making. This is going to be only exchange system. And if you say yes, so you allowing the central banks to tell you what is going to be the exchange and what currency. And then half of the country can do exchange. The rest of the world cannot, or whatever. You mutate everything the way you want to do. But this by consent.
Yes.
That avalanche of new innovation cannot be stopped because people are very smart. The only reason it became a brainwash because they were doing to a psychological warfare and brainwashing through everything in an aspect of life. But you are being connected with your higher selves, and the ones that are hold that vibration were able somehow to wake up the rest of the humanity. We're now more than 70 some percent awakened, and when it reaches a certain level, you're going to see already is happening how they're going after certain figures that are lying about all this stuff. And you have trials coming at the same time. And at the same time, if you watch mainstream social media, not even a word of what's really happening around.
Yes.
And you hear only this lockdown and that lockdown, and this is happening. Make no mistakes. You have a very clever and genius on manipulation opponent.
Yes, you have to give that to them. They are smart. Yes.
Stay alert, play a chess game, be clever, and use your quantum manifestation to create the reality you want and not the reality that they're projecting you and try to continuously locking you into. The only way you're going to be there by consenting.
Yeah, thank you, Marina. So another question, is interdimensional travel available to us right now?
It's already available. They travel interdimensional, and we have a fleet. There was a dark fleet. They know all about that. They're super soldiers. I do not know anything about that. I'm not being given information about that. So if you ask me anything for rituals or off-planet battles, I have no information. They choosing not to give me that information. My teachings are in quantum structure. My teachings are how you can mutate your realities to the new platforms. You have the new codes in my material how to do that. You have the true versions of how you mutate structures and not the way they lie to us. And this way, you are your own universe, your own creator. You don't need somebody else to tell you how your life should be.
Exactly. That's awful for someone to tell you how to live your life when you have your God-given rights. Yes.
And now they're going to suppress more and more and more. 2022, I'm quoting the Council of Nine, is the year of revelation. You're going to find out who these oligarchs are, not only by what they're doing, but also of how they're suppressing. And also they're going to be exposed. So anybody that is putting you into lockdowns, anybody that is talking about this and completely continuing with the trajectory of that agenda, it's part of that negative structure. So once they're in the open, then is the time when specific momentum for them to be captured, but they're already getting captured. I don't know how, when, I'm not connected with that. I just know that the end result for humanity wins the war. Maybe not every battle, but the war is already won.
And that's important. That's wonderful
And that's
news.
what we need to stay with, because into the quantum structure, that reality already happened. You just have to create it to see this timeline.
Yes. Marina, you are the one who coined the term energetic philanthropy. And I know there are a lot of energy empaths, seers, awakened people that offer a lot of programs in return for monetary compensation. Are they doing something wrong, or is this something based on their own guides' advice?
I can say what this is not a judgment at all. I can say what the Council of Nine said, and you're going to study a lot what the quantum is for money structure. What happened is, into the 3D structure, this is how we're indoctrinated to exchange. In actuality, from planet Earth, everything was given for free, and we could have had a completely utopia society with different modality, different systems, super technology. You can expand your consciousness in a different way. It doesn't have to have this type of exchange. However, that was a process that human race had to learn to go through. The way you're going interstellar, you need these technologies. Why not? We can biolocate through the body, but consciousness is learning different modality of expression. Nothing is wrong with that. You don't want to be only in the mountains. You want to go to see the beach area, correct?
Yes.
So it's nothing wrong with that. So both of realities are true. So to use the money, it's okay for itself, and yet to go by donation is the new level of expansion. Because with the old version of the three-dimensional Earth, when you do that by the archon was fine, but in actuality, you are overtaking somebody's consciousness to tell you what it is by the pretense that you have to survive, you have to pay the bills. But that pull you away from the heart structure. And the heart structure, when it's connected by you truly respecting the person and you wishing to donate to that person the money from your heart as much as you wish to, that is allowing a free energetic exchange field in this this monetary structure to create in a fifth dimensional timeline. Because not only that you took something that somebody gave you for free, but you also chose from your heart to support that person as much as you wish to, because you know that that person has to pay the bill. You're not stealing from that person. You know, I love you so much and thank you so much for what you do. This is my gift because I know you have to pay the bills and you have to take care of your family. But that exchange, I promise you, if you try to do to somebody, it will fill your heart and it will bring different feeling that is not familiar to you. But that feeling is going to connect you with the heart and is going to raise the frequency of your consciousness and your body. Because guess what, guys? The shifting of the timelines is connected through the heart structure, because the heart holds and accumulates the code frequency geometry for bilocating and shifting to the higher realms of existence, where there no negative structure can survive, because they cannot hold the resonance. So more you support each other, more you exchange with each other through money or helping or something like this, more you accumulate that. And yet the Council of Nine told me, if you're the main provider, is nothing wrong at the moment for you to charge something, but they said, but charge with a reason, not to the point that you wipe out their bank account. But when you charge with a reason, make sure, they said, that at least a couple of days a week, you use the true energy philanthropy by just giving with no expectation what they're going to give you back. Even if they don't give you, they said, something else gonna accumulate, because what you're doing when you're projecting that frequency, you're also accumulating of the same. So focus on the person itself. They said to me, and I'm quoting, You're going to give the best of yourself, of the best of your abilities, even if you talk to one person. Why? Because that one person in a quantum structure is your entire universe. And based on what you project into that person, that's what is accumulating back to you. So your job is to grab and be greedy to give good, but then you're going to be greedy to get good back to you. Because if that person was homeless, because I get homeless people calling me from a library, crying that they can even talk to me. And I gave so much, but then I literally accumulated so much energy that I had a person that came out of nowhere and donated quite a bit of money to me that really support my family for that month. And they said to me, and I'm quoting from the Council of Nine, you're going to see of the season 4, the episode where was example of manifestation, when they said to me, there doesn't matter if you need a $1 or $1 million. When you need it, you're going to receive it. So I said, I can receive millions of dollars. I don't know how, but I know I have them because I can do this, I can do, and I'm just sitting the way I said, you're going to know I'm going to be able to pay off my home. I proved that. You're going to see that how happen. But when I started the journey, I had no idea how I can even pay my bills to feed my children. And wait until you see the synchronicities that happen until it's shocking, but it's not shocking. I created to see it because of the way I used it.
Let go and trust the universe and be with faith that things will happen.
They said when you charge, make sure that couple of days a week you do completely energy philanthropy, because you want to accumulate in your consciousness to a familiarize with that new frequency, because eventually the one that is going to project in your reality is which one of those two actions you end up taking more. So if you've been taking more with the money, in your reality, you're also going to create situations that in order for you to get something is always going to be conditioned. It's not going to easily flow to you.
Mhm.
That's why. It's
Yeah.
all about energetic field.
Interesting. Marina, we talk about technology, and one of the latest one which affects everyone is blockchain and crypto. Blockchain is going to stay and change our lives, or is just a fluke?
Yeah, blockchain and artificial technology is going to change our life in a positive, and yet could be used for the negative. Blockchain, you cannot stop the evolution with blockchain and artificial. It's going to have its own language, it's going to have its own systems, and it could be implemented for humanity in a very positive way. Decentralized systems.
Yes, thank
They
you.
try to centralize it, but I know the end result. The Council of Nine told me that the system for freeing humanity, we're talking monetary system, is a system that even the people that think they know, they don't know. And the reason is to preserve it because there's a lot of manipulation. That doesn't mean you cannot make money on the markets. You could, but I wouldn't put 100% trust in all that.
Thank you. Marina, I want to respect your time. And we are approaching the end of the interview. Any final thoughts?
I want to tell everybody that you have incredible power to change your reality. You are the universe and you're the single particle. Use your power to create this new reality for all of us. Because if I can do it, so can you, because I'm another version of you. And right now, all of you, if you're watching me, you are projecting another version of yourself as me, so you can download all this information. So thank you for coming into my reality, and vice versa.
Marina, thank you. Thank you very much. And to my viewers, please like it, share it, watch the interview, support me on patreon.com/claudiumurgan. Get a free copy of my book when you visit my website. And until next time, love and gratitude.